Welcome to Sports Sushi. Your chefs for tonight are Sports Plug Russ, serving up the spiciest sports takes of the week. Sterling Furrow, rolling the X's and O's into an analytical maki platter. And finally, the moderator who always keeps the sake flowing, DJ Slow Boogie. Now grab those chopsticks and get ready, because your order of fresh and raw sports sushi is up.
Welcome to the Sports Sushi first annual mock draft special. All right, so we're kind of switching it up this week. I will be doing the hosting, but I got my guys here, Sports Plug Russ, and I got my guy, DJ Slow Boogie, in the house, and this is the trifecta of Sports Sushi, and we back at it for another week. What's up, guys?
Yo, I'm chilling, man. I gotta go ahead and one more time for the one time. Hey, it's football Christmas Eve. You know what I'm talking about? We better get it in. It's draft, baby.
Yeah, so after all the mock drafts, after all the film
all
watching,
of them,
all the big board doing, we are at a place now where it's time to make picks, to make selections, to kind of get this thing kicked off. But before the NFL does it, we felt like we need to kick it off here at Sports Sushi the right way. So we're gonna give you some thoughts and ideas on who should be picked, when they should be picked. And we have not just the three of us picking, but we also have producer Chris in the house. So we have some of our fans and friends who are also going to be joining us, who have user teams. So
and one time for the people that are out here picking for the teams in the draft, for the Sports Sushi annual draft. Sports Sushi is for and about the people, so we brought the people in. So we love it. This is going to be the beginning of something freaking great.
So here are the rules for tonight's draft. So we want to keep every pick to about 3 minutes. All right. And then don't be trash. Get some good picks, man. Like maybe your opinion and what you think the team is going to do. So that's who you should be picking for. But without further ado, let's jump into this thing, shall we?
Who got the TV going?
Yeah, somebody need to turn the TV off. We got the Carolina Panthers on the board, and we're going to make this real quick. I think tomorrow they're going to go with Bryce Young. So I think we're gonna do that here. The Carolina Panthers have selected Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama, and now we have the Texans on the clock. Now, do we have our representative picking? Who's picking for the Texans?
Well, if our Texans pick doesn't show up, I'll step in. And is he not here? He's not here right now.
So I'll give him a minute. So I'll kind of
Yeah. Then, if not, then I'll go ahead and
okay. So
I'll make the pick.
All right. So the Texans are in a peculiar position because they have the second overall pick, but there have been talks about the Texans maybe getting the best non-quarterback at number 2, and then maybe going back at 12 and thinking they're going to get a quarterback. That's some of the rumors that are being kind of tossed around. We know that, if you don't have a quarterback, your roster is incomplete, but they are in a good position. I mean, you got 2 picks in the top 12 here in the first round. And I feel like, you got to go quarterback, but the Texans tomorrow, they might do something completely different. They might go get a Jalen Carter. They might go get a Will Anderson at number 2. But there have been talks about that they might like Will Levis here. CJ Stroud has been falling. So who, Boogie, since you're going to pick for the Texans, who would you pick right here?
Okay, so right now, the Texans right now is trying to do the login stuff. They're asking for the email. So hopefully he'll jump in at the number 12 pick. But I'm not gonna fuck around and I know what the Texans, what the city is thinking. So before I make the pick, I'm just gonna say this: the city is split in two. There's a group of people that don't really trust the Texans, and there's a group of people that are very optimistic about what they're going to do, and they're going to ride with whatever they pick. I fall into the category of the people that don't trust them. I think I really think that if they're not going to get Bryce Young, I think they should get Will Anderson Jr. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to get C.J. Stroud at the number 2.
Okay.
They're going to fix the quarterback issue. I'd much rather Bryce Young, but I will go C.J. Stroud here.
All right, so we're gonna go C.J. Stroud here, and this is the in my opinion, this is the safest pick that you can do here, just because you don't have a quarterback. Go get yourself a quarterback, and it's not
a multitude of reasons.
Exactly. I think C.J. Stroud is the best pure throw of the football in this draft. So I don't care about his cognitive S2 scoring. So C.J. Stroud right here is a good pick. So
I'm sorry, but real quick about his scoring, his cognitive 2C2 scoring, whatever you want to call it. He did have to take it. It was like at 12 a.m. and he was tired to take, and he didn't feel like taking it. Then he did it again and scored high, but for some reason they used the other score. So, yeah. But I just want to throw that in there for those that think that test is like really important. It's not. The film is.
For sure. I agree. At number 3, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this one here, they're not a quarterback needy team, but they kind of have holes everywhere. Offensive line, defensive line. Skill positions.
I'll pick for them. Do we have someone that needs to pick for them?
No, go ahead.
I will.
I'll let you go ahead and pick for them because
this is really easy
for the Cardinals here.
This is really easy. No, Paris Johnson. Period. I don't want to hear anything else about trying to get because I don't want to hear about Will Anderson or nothing. The quarterback said, "Get me Paris Johnson. Go get someone to protect him." Straight up.
Okay. All right. So
that's what I would do.
We'll take the tackle here from Ohio State. Paris Johnson is a guy that has really good upside. He's a monster of a guy. He can anchor well. He's definitely good. He's a better pass blocker than he is run blocker. But again, like you said, the Cardinals definitely need help on offensive line. So by taking Paris Johnson, they kind of shore up a huge need for them here. So at pick number 4, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Again, this is a team that they need quarterback. They need wide receiver. They need defensive line help. I mean, they just lost Stephon Gilmore. So, cornerback is in play here. But again, if you don't have a quarterback, what do you have? And but again, so in our little draft here, we've had 2 quarterbacks already taken off the board, which could really resemble what's going to take place tomorrow night. So with the 4th pick in the Sports Sushi NFL draft, the Colts will take who?
You know who I think they should take. Y'all know he's my guy at QB, but I'm just going to wait for y'all to say someone else if y'all will. But I know the Colts should take, unless they trade and do some crazy stuff and end up with Lamar Jackson. But I don't think that's going to happen. And if it does, cool. But we're not predicting the future as far as that's concerned, trade-wise. I'm not going to try to. But I think they go Anthony Richardson.
You think Anthony? If I were them, I'd go Will Levis here. I think he fits. Well, it depends because Will Levis is mobile, just like Anthony Richardson is. But Anthony Richardson is on another level. I feel like Will Levis is more of a polished passer at this point than Anthony Richardson is, right? So I would say go Will Levis. You say go Anthony Richardson. For sake of time here, Boogie, who would you take here?
Break the tie.
Anthony Richardson.
Okay, we'll go Anthony Richardson here. Anthony Richardson will be the pick for the Colts. You get a solid quarterback. I think he's definitely gonna need some help. So you're gonna have to surround him with some talent. But the upside's there. I think he probably has the highest upside of anyone in this class. It's just a matter if you have the infrastructure and the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator to make it happen. So Anthony Richardson is now off the board. And next up, we got the Seattle Seahawks with the 5th pick.
Okay, that's going to be Hurricane. Let's see if Dale's here. I think Rodney, the Texans, is here, but I don't see him.
I don't see Hurricane.
Yeah. Okay, so we can hear you.
Okay. I think I have myself on mute. That's why.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, cool. All right. So then we'll just I'll pick for the Seattle Seahawks here. So with that fifth pick, I think they need to go. They need to get the best player that they can, right? And I feel like that's Will Anderson Jr. here. You definitely need some help on the defensive line. I think you get the best pure pass rusher in this class. He's bendy. He has just a high motor. He not only is he a good pass rusher, but he can also give fits in the run game. I feel like this guy is a disruptor. Outside of quarterbacks, I feel like he's the best prospect in this class outside of quarterbacks. So Will Anderson is the pick here. And now with the sixth pick in the Sports Sushi mock draft, we got the Detroit Lions on the clock. Now, the Lions are an up and coming team. They beat the Green Bay Packers, sent them home packing, and they listen, man. They got some really young talents, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and these guys are out here gambling and whatever. So they're going to be out for 6 games. So you might need to figure something out here. So if I am the Detroit Lions, the Detroit Lions, they love defensive linemen, right? Mm-hmm. I think cornerback is a need for them. Tight end, because they lost TJ Hawkinson, but you're not going to take a tight end high here. They need a lot. So it's either cornerback here, or you get a Jalen Carter who can really help that defensive line. I mean, it's pretty strong, but you can't ever have too many defensive linemen when you got one of the best young pure edge rushers in the class in Aiden Hutchinson last year. So
if Devon Witherspoon is out here making plays next year and you didn't pick him, aren't you going to be upset?
I don't think it's wrong. Like if they go Jalen Carter or Witherspoon here, I don't think it's really a wrong pick.
Okay, hear me out. I'm not going to sit here and say that Devon Witherspoon. I said Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to sit and act like Witherspoon is a better overall football player than Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is the best overall football player in this draft. You know what I'm saying? But as far as if you watch Detroit Lions games, their problems is not in the front seven. Their problems are in the back end, and they lose games every single year because something goes wrong in the back end, or they don't have a guy that can keep up with the other team's best receiver. People are out of place. They need someone back there that's good enough to at least start some sort of leadership in the secondary.
Well, could you contest that if you have a good and potent pass rush, and this is I was always taught, quarterback can be all pro, but if he's throwing off his ass, it don't matter.
Now, well, I will say that's not a bad way of thinking, but to the counter of that, if you don't have guys that can cover and the quarterbacks can throw quick, it doesn't matter how fast that your guys can get to them. Like all he's got to do is get the ball out. You need guys that can cover. Like the reason, honestly, they work hand in hand. I believe they just work hand in hand. I think you need both, but you can pick which one you want to build with first. But I believe that whichever one you find out you have first, then you go immediately to the second level. And they have
1 minute left on the pick. We got 1 minute left on the pick.
So,
and also they traded away Okuda as well. So you have to fill that slot. So I think we go with Witherspoon here.
So you can have your choice of Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon. I like Witherspoon here. I think he'd be a solid pick here for Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
Yeah. On the clock, now we have the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders, they got Jimmy Garoppolo to be their quarterback. But outside of wide receiver and running back, they got holes everywhere. And they got a glaring hole at defensive line interior. I think Jalen Carter could really do some damage there. So I'll make the pick for these guys, and we'll take Jalen Carter off the board. I really do think
I'm just going to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this has nothing to do with Jalen Carter's talent, but you think the Las Vegas Raiders, after everything that they've gone through with players dealing with DUIs and speeding and all this other stuff, that they would even hint? I'm not saying I would. I wouldn't. I'm just saying, thinking about that organization and how we know the NFL moves, I think they're going to be like, yeah, he's the best, but we're gonna stay away from that. But
Here's what I
think. This is where I think he starts falling in the draft. But yeah,
every year there's prospects that due to off the field issues are falling. Now, I always kind of lean toward NFL executives and people, the insiders know, kind of have a really good idea what was his fault. What can he take away that was his that maybe raise a character flag or whatsoever. I still believe that Jalen Carter will still go in the top 10. But if we're just talking pure football, I think Las Vegas is his best fit, just from a pure football standpoint, minus the off-the-field issues.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm just saying with the way that the NFL moves, I really do think this is a point where someone says what you said, and we watch the Raiders go, we don't care, we're not doing that because we're just not going down that road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just think that's what they're going to do. But good pick, though.
I mean, it's something that, I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow night, but our Sports Sushi board says Jalen Carter is going to the Vegas Raiders, and hopefully
I'm not gonna be mad,
concerns. Right. Hopefully, it works out for him.
But I really do think they're gonna skip him.
They could. They need a quarterback, right? Because Garoppolo ain't it. I mean,
isn't Will still available?
Will Levis is still on the board here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This and our next team with the Atlanta Falcons, and I know we have someone who is a representative for the Falcons. So before our representative comes up and lays his selection, I want to lay out a few things for him. Right now, the needs for the Falcons could be quarterback, running back, wide receiver, edge rusher. I mean, they have a lot of holes. And so right now that's hot on the board. Bijan Robinson is here. He's been pegged to go to the Atlanta Falcons. You could get yourself a wide receiver in Jackson Smith and Jigba. You could also get Will Levis as your quarterback. I think that would be a really good selection here. So, right, probably not. So for our Falcons representative, we got Draco here. Draco, who will the Falcons be picking tonight?
Jeremy knows me. I want defense big time because I'm tired of the Falcons having less sacks than the sack leader of the entire year. This past season, the Falcons had 21 sacks. Yeah, there have been players that have more sacks than that in one season. I'm so tired of that. So goddamn tired. Get Grady Jarrett some goddamn help on that line.
Okay, say it with your whole chest. So, is Nolan Smith the pick here?
I'm actually torn between Nolan Smith and Tyree Wilson.
Okay. All right. It's Tyree Wilson. Now, Tyree Wilson's like 6'7", 6'6", extremely long arms. He's got powerful hands. And he plays in a scheme at Texas Tech where they really didn't use him to go get after the passer that much. So he would be an excellent selection here. Is that who you're wanting?
Yeah, I think with the addition of Campbell, now a lot of people got to remember that Campbell signing was for 1 year. That's it. That's all we're getting him for. Okay. So he really needs to help out the rookie. So, yeah, I definitely think they should go something like Tyree Wilson.
Okay. All right, Tyree Wilson is the selection for the Atlanta Falcons. And now don't pay attention to the PFF big board because I feel like their values of players are kind of a little skewed. But Tyree Wilson is one of the top 5 players in this class. So,
yeah, always let your eyes do. Always let your eyes what you see talk for you. I like the pick. I personally would have went Nolan because I feel like Nolan's one of those.
Well, my defense for that is Nolan had Jalen Carter with him. So was he bouncing off of him? Was he like you don't really know until they separate?
Feeding off his duffel teams and stuff.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
I just watched the little bit I've seen of Nolan, and then when I watched him run a 4.3, I just don't think you pass that up.
Yeah,
but
true. But
I read good ones too, though.
In terms of the run game and being able to be a disruptor in the run game, Nolan Smith is really good, man. He's another 6'2", bendy kind of edge rusher. Yeah. He's going to win with speed and power. Yeah, Tyree is more of your win with length and power, whereas Nolan Smith has that athletic upside. You don't have to worry about him off the field. He's going to do all the things that he needs to do. So Tyree Wilson's a good pick, just as Nolan Smith would be a good pick here. But next up, we got the Chicago Bears. We got the Chicago Bears on the clock. Now, we have a representative for the Bears. So, the Bears are pretty. I like the Bears and what they've been able to do, man. They got a draft haul. They got a really good wide receiver that they just added. But I feel like they definitely need some help on the offensive side of the ball. So right now, Peter Skoronski projects to be an interior offensive lineman. I don't think the value is right here. But there's a myriad of things that you could do. There's still some really good offensive tackles on the board. But for our Bears representative, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're thinking here?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Appreciate you having me. Hope all's well.
How's it going?
This is pretty easy for me. You guys, with the Falcons taking Tyree Wilson off the board, that's an Eberflus special. Add 10, 15 pounds to him, you make him a 3-tech. But with him off the board, this becomes a real easy choice to me. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth and pass it up. And so Peter Skoronski, local kid, Maine South, Chicago. I know everybody projects him to a guard. That's fine. You can't tell me that you're going to pass up a blue chip guard prospect. He's going to come in, be right tackle to start. Tevin Jenkins going to play left guard, and all wishes, all prayers to Tevin, but he's yet to show that he can stay healthy throughout an entire season. So when Tevin inevitably goes down, I'm taking Skoronski, moving him over to left guard, and we can talk about putting whoever the next man is up at right tackle. But you're getting your best 5 out there in Skoronski. No doubt in anybody's mind, frankly, that he's the best offensive lineman in this draft.
Okay, so that's a shocker to me because
I like pick, man. That's a good ass pick, man. I love this old lineman love over here. I love it.
I like him. I feel like the value here, like when I look at Peter Skoronski and I look at a John Michael Smith or Osiris Torrance at guard, I feel like he's a better prospect, but the value here in the top 10, right, that's where it kind of gets a little iffy for me. But you hunker down and you went offensive tackle. You're going to play him at tackle. I feel like he has short arms. And then, one of the question marks that I have about his game is, how is he going to be able to anchor down against, quicker defensive ends off the edge is one of the things that I kind of worry about. What do you see in his game that makes you think, okay, we could work with him here?
The cleanest tape in the entire class out of all the offensive line prospects. You want to talk about him going against Zach Harrison, Ohio State. You're talking about a lab-built defensive end, 6'6", 34-plus inch arms. No problem anchoring on him. Had rough reps against Lucas Van Ness in 21, but put on the 22 tape against Lucas Van Ness and watch him turn Lucas Van Ness into a nobody out there on the field. This is a guy that the problem is that we can all sit here and talk about short arms, but the man has had to play with short arms his entire life, and he's learned to compensate with that with incredible technique. So we've seen it with Rashawn Slater. We've seen it with Braden Smith. We've seen other tackles that come in and are plenty successful with short arms. So to me, this isn't a problem. And again, the man he's earned a right to play tackle at the next level and fail inside. If he cannot do it, move him inside. And what do you get it? Worst case on tackle, you're getting Brian Bulaga, a career-long starter at tackle that's average at best. You move him inside, and all of a sudden you're getting Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller type player. I'm not against it. Love it.
Yeah, I
good like selection. That shit. I'm not gonna lie. Hold up, Bears, Bears. I like that. I like the breakdown. I like the pick. I like the way that you go to protect. You go to protect your quarterback. You're not into all this fancy stuff, and I love it.
And let's add one little thing here before you guys get me out of here. We're all about screwing the Packers when we can. They want to sit there and take Dick Butkus, his nephew, and make him their offensive line coach. We will gladly take the grandson of one of your best left tackles ever in Skoronski, make him a Chicago Bear with the grandson, and now all of a sudden we're starting this. This is the Bears, King of the North.
I love that. I love that.
I know some Detroit fans that are gonna hate it, but I love it. I love
Petty like that. Call me Tom Petty.
Hey, we're gonna have to have. What's your name again? We'll have to have you on for our little draft discussions next year, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, Jordan Silvera. You guys can find me, Jordan T. Silvera, on Twitter. Appreciate you having me.
Jordan, make sure go ahead and send me a follow at Furrow Sterling on Twitter, and then we'll link up.
We'll do, brother. Thank you.
At RL Climb SP. That's me, man. We gotta, for sure.
You got it. Thank you, brothers. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
All right. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock, and we do have a representative for the Eagles while they're getting situated and in the room. I'll make sure and go ahead and just kind of communicate. The Eagles here at number 10, they're one of the best teams in the league. They seem to just draft really well. And one of the things that they don't have now is a starting running back. because Miles Sanders went and signed with the Carolina Panthers. You know, there's a glaring hole at running back. You could make an argument for offensive line, as there's some pieces on the offensive line getting older. You know, a good center here. They need safety help. A wide receiver. You know, wide receiver 3, kind of someone who could just kind of.
My bad, Sterling. My bad. I think one of our members is, if you have Sterling or the show on, turn that volume down on the show.
Yes,
I think it's
it's
echoes
coming
coming through. So just turn the show off. Not you, Sterling. I'm just saying someone else. That's one of our other teams. Just turn it.
No. Yeah, but I don't have the broadcast on.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I heard Sterling's voice, so just turn the broadcast on mute, and you'll be good to go.
All right, so the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles are on the clock. Eagles, what are you thinking here?
Yeah. So I'm torn between Robinson, of course, and Nolan Smith.
Okay.
But because they got Rashad Penny, although I don't trust his health.
Right. It's always a question mark.
Yeah, and I know Dallas doesn't pick till 26.
Mm-hmm.
But as an Eagles fan, I'm stuck out here in Dallas.
Okay.
And I feel like they like Robinson.
That's not a bad place.
What's that?
I'm out here too. I'm out.
Oh, you're in Dallas?
I'm out here too, man. I'm in the island.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Well, yeah, I'm one of
a lot of Cowboys fans. And the radio show I listen to out here seems like they kind of want to take Robinson, so I got to make sure he doesn't get down to Dallas.
Okay, I like that. So are you doubling down on Bijan Robinson here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. So
Dallas Goddard is.
Guys, I don't pay attention to college, so I don't.
Okay,
but I'm hearing the hype on Robinson.
He's an amazing player.
And
really,
it's kind of like a few years ago when the Eagles took Dallas Goddard. I mean, they did that just to spite the Cowboys. So kind of the same thing here, even though Cowboys aren't until 26.
Well, that's
what we need now.
Right, and that's a good selection for the Eagles here. I feel like you get one of the top 3 pure talents in this draft of Bijan Robinson. You know, you can have him on a rookie contract here for the next 5 years and not have to worry about paying him, and you can franchise tag him on his 6th year, right? And then you can get rid of him after that. You know, that's kind of the shelf life. That's kind of the shelf life for a running back. But
why you got to do him so dirty? I want running backs to get paid, but he's right. God, that's terrible. We got it, man. We got.
But that's how they think, though. But that's how they think.
That is. This is exactly.
And if he turns out to be one of the best running backs in the league, then you can choose to pay him. But if there's any kind of debate about that, or flop, or injury history, then you gotta let him go.
Yeah.
So hey, Mike, that's a good pick, man. Good. Glad that you got to come hang out with us. Up next,
thanks, guys.
We got the Tennessee Titans that are on the clock. Some good news out of Tennessee is that their stadium is getting funded by the state and by the citizens of Tennessee. So they're going to have a nice new stadium here in the next few years or somewhat. But right now their team is trash. And, they got Derrick Henry, and
they're taking Will. If Will is still on the board.
I feel like here you got to go Will Levis, but it's Tennessee, and I don't really have all that much confidence in them to make the right decision. But they have to because we're picking for them, Russ. I guess that we're going to go Will Levis here. Will Levis is going to get him
my OCD will. I get what you're saying. Like I think they may mess up in trade Sterling and mess this up somehow. But my OCD will not let me Will Levis cannot pass them. Like they need. Like, if you're starting over, start over. Get a quarterback.
Right. So here we are. So as we get to the 12th pick, let's kind of take a real good glance at what we've already selected. Bryce Young goes number 1 overall, and Boogie picked C.J. Stroud for the Texans, which I think is a good move because based on how our boards kind of played out, if the Texans went and got, let's say they went and took a Will Anderson here at number 2, well. The Titans showed us that they were needy for a quarterback, and that would have left the Texans kind of in a peculiar spot with no quarterback and just a pass rusher on the board. So that's why we say, those of you out there listening, that if you don't have a quarterback, you got to go get that guy first before you get cute, because there is no guarantee that you're going to be able to get that guy with a later pick. So with the 12th pick and the Sports Sushi NFL draft, we got the Houston Texans on the clock again, and Boogie.
No, Rodney's here.
Oh, Rodney is here. So Rodney.
Hey, welcome. You on CP time, but it's okay. It's okay. Some technicalities.
Well, we hear him.
We can hear him.
We hear him fine.
Yeah, Chris. How long?
One moment, we got some more technicalities.
Yeah, Chris is trying.
I wish I had some elevator music while we wait.
All right.
All right, so
we back.
And with that 12 pick, we just gonna do what we should do. We need more offensive weapons, so why not go get Jackson Smith and pair his guy with his quarterback, and it makes the best sense for what we're gonna do. We're West Coast offense. Get a guy that could do your yak yards. Get your your slot guy or outside guy. But the thing is, we just need more weapons, more offensive weapons, playmakers. However, we could make it comfortable for CJ, and we're gonna keep rocking. I would have traded down, but we no trades. This is how it should go.
Please God no.
Yeah.
Please God no.
I think this is. I think this is that's a good pick. I mean, you talk about chemistry. You pair up C.J. Stroud back with his number one target and Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is amazing. But what you get in Jackson Smith and Jigba is you get a smooth route runner. He has one of the quickest agility drill numbers in this draft for a wide receiver. What you get. You don't get in the terms of long speed, you get with lateral agility and quickness. This really shows well when he's breaking off the stem of a route and creating space to get himself open. Not only can he play in the slot, but he's going to play on the outside as well. So you kind of get a jack of all trades receiver here. I really like the upside. I think he has the opportunity to be one of the top 10, 15 receivers in the NFL in the next couple of years.
Would you even say he's deep? He could be a Debo type player in this offense.
Not in terms of like makeup, in terms of like physicality, but in terms, I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba is a better wide receiver in general than Debo Samuel, in just terms of like what he could do with his route running, how he can make himself open in zone coverage, etc.
I got a count.
Go ahead. Who you got?
It's a lofty one.
Devontae Adams. That's a stretch.
No. I'm saying it's a lofty one because of what I'm talking about play style.
Okay. Yeah.
What'd you just get through saying? He's not really the fastest, but he explodes out of his breaks. He's able to get open his own coverage. His route running is impeccable, and he can catch the hell out the ball. What does Devontae Adams do? And when you watch them play, he's got that similar kind of like wiggly. I don't know if you can see me, but he's got like that wiggly movement when he gets the ball and when he's going through his route. So like, it's not like, is he going to be Devontae? I'm not saying that. Now he should, because what the Texans are doing is fast forwarding what the Bengals did. Instead of having to wait a year, they're getting him in the same time. You know what I'm saying? So this should propel them to, he should be that good, but I'm not going to put that on him. But his play style is a lot like Devontae.
In terms of route running and separation, there's a lot of similarities there. Devontae Adams has that ability to go, where he high points the ball. He's a lot more physical receiver. But yeah, I mean, from a route running perspective, Devontae Adams is the best route runner in the last 10 years ever to put on a uniform. He's that good of a route runner. Just ask Ocho Cinco. But I like the comparison in terms of what they do well. So, Rodney, good job on that pick, man. We always appreciate you being a part of the show.
For sure.
Definitely appreciate y'all guys, man. I'm always gonna watch you guys, man.
We're gonna see you next week when these playoffs kick in.
You know it. I'm gonna step through. But as always, man, appreciate you guys, man. Keep it rocking.
All right,
bet.
My boy.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we got the Green Bay Packers. Now, our Bears correspondent so eloquently said "F you" to the Green Bay Packers. Now, okay, so I'll kind of set the table for our Packers guy, but the Packers kind of they said goodbye to Aaron Rodgers this week in a trade that we're anticipating to have for quite some time. But they definitely have some needs here. They drafted 2 solid wide receivers last year. Quarterback is a need. I mean, Jordan Love, they're gonna roll the dice him. So I don't feel like they're gonna go quarterback in this draft at all. I really do think that they have glaring holes at tight end.
Oh, it's the Packers. Go ahead, my bad.
If you want to get a pure slot receiver, I think that's something that they should take a look at. And then you can go defensive line here. You can go safety. They definitely have needs there. But if I am the Green Bay Packers, I'm looking towards an offensive skill position. But once our Green Bay Packers correspondent gets in, all right.
Sterling, the Packers ain't finna do that.
I'm
just exactly who they about to pick. You know exactly who the Packers gonna pick, and he's available on this board.
I'm curious to see who he selects.
Me too, because I don't want to say it because I think I know who he's gonna. Well, I think I know he should pick.
Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of the linemen here. Now, I would assume that he's talking offensive linemen. Okay, so
that's a surprise.
So here's what I think in terms of offensive linemen that's left on the board. Okay, Darnell Wright is a really good. He's gonna play right tackle, right? So you got David Bakhtiari at left tackle. You have a right tackle. I feel like you definitely would like to get someone with a interior guard kind of do some things. So you look at a guy like Osiris Torrance. DeJuan Jones is strictly a tackle. John Michael Smith he's going to play center, but I think you can get him way later. So you're looking at guys like Broderick Jones will be a good selection here just because.
You kind of got to go young Tennessee, don't you?
Go with who?
Darnell Wright.
Yeah, what's his name? Tennessee, my bad, right?
Oh, Darnell Wright. The problem with Darnell Wright though is that he's strictly a right tackle, and he's not going to play. He's not going to play any guard, right?
Wait, you said Bakhtiari plays right or left?
Bakhtiari plays left tackle, and then their right tackle is what's the guy's name? God, I can't remember his name, but he's Elton Jenkins, I believe, is who their right tackle is.
Is he a Pro Bowler?
No, he's not a Pro Bowler, but he's good, right? But
he might have injuries. To move because Darnell
Skoronski's already picked. Yes,
Chicago made a hell of a pick and took that from Green Bay. Ooh.
Yeah. That was a double middle finger.
To have him do that, right? Green Bay come in and say, "I want line." It's like, sorry, buddy. Well,
so we have 1 minute left on the Packers pick, and when he tells you, Chris, let me know.
Yeah, y'all can pick the O-line. He can pick his O-line. I personally think he should have went Nolan Smith, and I think that they are going to go Nolan Smith if he drops this far because he's a defensive player, and that's what the Packers do.
Yeah, and the Packers they have a hybrid 3-4 scheme. I think you can put Nolan Smith as an outside linebacker and have him rush that way, which would be beneficial for him just because he has that straight line speed and he could attack the outside shoulders of these tackles with speed and quickness.
Quentin Johnson or lineman?
No, Johnson's picked.
Paris Johnson has been picked. So he wants a tackle. So if he wants a tackle, I can get him.
Go right.
I can get him Broderick Jones. I think Broderick Jones is the best tackle in this class to me. I think he gives you high upside. So Broderick can play left and right. Broderick has kind of played almost every position on offensive line at Georgia outside of center. He's extremely versatile, extremely talented.
I'll just say this: Harrison went to Oklahoma. So he's going to be good at the next level, probably a Pro Bowler. But I don't know if you want to reach,
So Broderick Jones, can we agree that the Packers will select Broderick Jones? Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So the Packers have made their selection with Broderick Jones. And next up we have the New England Patriots. who will do the picking for them. The Patriots.
We could just, come on, Sterling.
Yeah. So
Nolan Smith, Bill Belichick. He's not.
No, we're not gonna do that because Bill Belichick always picks something stupid. He always does something stupid. So we're gonna get a Bill Belichick. We're gonna get a Bill Belichick selection here, even though Nolan Smith is on the board.
Will not be smart and make an intelligent pick for this man.
So I have to give them Lucas Van Ness. Oh,
hey, what's up,
how's it going, guys?
Wow.
Sterling was a Bills fan. He was going to sabotage your pick.
I was going, bro.
All right, so who did the Packers take at 13?
So the Packers took Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Georgia. Now, let me say this to you before we have you tell us who you want. I never, Bill Belichick in the first round, his picks are always puzzling. So I was going to give him an edge rusher that was a little bit down the list because that's what he'll do. But now that you're here, what do you feel like the New England Patriots are going to do right now?
Now, I kind of got sniped by the Packers because I feel like the Patriots really need a right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Broderick Jones could have been that guy. But there's a division rival who just got a really good quarterback, and there's a corner on the board. And so I could see New England taking Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon.
Ooh,
okay.
Nice.
Christian Gonzalez will go off the board. Now, we all know Bill Belichick ain't going to do this, but what Christian Gonzalez is going to give you, he's like a 6'3" cornerback with size and ball skills. I think he'd be a really good fit in that defense. And who else would you want to go play for than Bill Belichick if you're a defensive player, especially in the back end of a defense? So Christian Gonzalez will be an excellent pick here. They already have some pieces in the secondary that are okay, but I think Christian Gonzalez would definitely be the right thing to take this defense to the next level for sure.
Look at that kid from he traded him to the Chargers. Was it J.C. Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So do you want to? Is there anything you want to tell us about Christian Gonzalez that makes you feel like you made the best selection here?
He's just a freak athlete, and he transferred from Colorado, went to Oregon, had a great year there. Showed that he can play, not just in a smaller system, but he's a stud, and I think he's arguably the best player available on the board at this point.
Okay.
I think it's the Patriots. They're such a strange team. They'll probably take a guy with a 3rd round grade that most people haven't heard of.
Right, that's what I was saying.
So that's the challenge in it. But I think if I were the Patriots GM or if I was a scout in that room, I'd be kind of on the table for Christian Gonzalez for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a solid pick, man. And again, thank you for coming and hanging out with us and picking for the New England Patriots. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, next up, we have the New York Jets on the clock now. New York Jets, they just got Aaron Rodgers. I was just on the show with Antoine Staley. We kind of talked about what we thought that the New York Jets were going to do, and he said that they probably want to go tackle here. They need tackle. I mean, because you got to think about it. They have the offensive weapons. I mean, Breece Hall. They got the offensive Garrett Wilson. They got Alan Lazard. They got Mecole Hardman. Like they got some guys. So offensive tackle seems to be the play here, and we don't have a representative for the Jets right now. So that means that the Sports Sushi fellas, we will kind of decide who they select. If you ask me, go ahead.
Even with those needs, do you think Robert Salah is going to pass on my guy Nolan?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they already have some good edge rushers already, right? They do run a 3-4 scheme, but it's kind of different where they're not really relying on the outside backers to do a lot of the rushing. They use them as more of hybrid defenders. Now, Nolan Smith is fast, but he's not. He can run with the guy, but he's not a guy. You don't draft him to have him going in coverage, right?
Yeah. I just thought about it, and no, they wouldn't, because they really need O-line bad, actually.
They need it bad.
They're probably taking right.
Yeah. So I would say if the best offensive lineman on the board to me right now is Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee. But there is a report that just came out as we're doing the show saying that the Packers want to get Rodgers one of these tight ends. So, So to keep things fun and interesting tonight, why don't we go tight end for these guys? You want to do that?
You gonna go
instead?
Kincaid?
Ooh,
We go Dalton.
Man,
Don't do me. Don't do me. Don't.
Take
just not. You gonna do it just for the sake of shitting on me, bro?
I'm not shitting on you.
The report says is that they're realistic looking at Kincaid and Mayer.
Yeah. So
Those
guess what? I'm not giving them Kincaid because he's better, and there's no representative for the Jets. They're gonna get Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer. Now, hear me out here, okay? And there's a lot of hater in me right now, but here we.
Oh, a whole lot. A whole lot.
Michael Mayer is more polished right now. Coming in, he's more polished, and he gives you a little bit, a lot more in terms of blocking. Dalton Kincaid is not much of a blocker. They have the receivers, right? They got the receivers. So I think if you are going to go tight end for their scheme, I think Michael Mayer is a better scheme fit. But Dalton Kincaid to me is a better tight end. Does that make sense?
No, I'm mad because you're right. But yeah.
So I won't make the pick. You guys tell me.
No, you can get Michael Mayer. It takes it down to one guy for me at 26. So
I mean, because I could find the worst tight end and give him them in the first round. I mean, that's what I really want to do. But I'll keep it a buck.
All right, so
I think that Michael Mayer. I would go Michael Mayer for those reasons that you actually stated.
Yeah, I'll go Mayer.
Okay, all right, we'll give them Michael Mayer. Okay, that's the evil laugh. But we do.
But I don't know if at the NFL level that Dalton's going to be better than Michael Mayer. Like that may end up, if that was to happen and they were to get Michael Mayer, that would be like a nightmare, I think, for the other teams in the AFC East.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. Dalton Kincaid has some of the best hands and route running ability of any tight end in this class, and I ain't gonna hate on that. But he's not a necessary tight end that's going to be inline blocking and doing stuff like that. Yeah, he's not that. Now, he tries it. He gives effort. So you're going to see that from him. But why not get a guy that may not be as athletic but gives you everything else that you need, and that someone that could come in with Aaron Rodgers. And, he doesn't have much patience for rookies. Tight end is one of the hardest positions to kind of translate from the college level to the NFL because you have to learn how to be an offensive lineman too. So I feel like, Michael Mayer kind of can come in and give them immediate, return on investment sooner than later. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders. Now, this is a squad that always has me in a tizzy, because you never know what the hell they're thinking, what they're doing. A lot of the stuff don't make sense. They're selling the team. They don't know their name anymore. However, they do have some needs, though. They definitely have a quarterback need. I would say name a skill position on offense, and they need it. Even wide receiver, which is not listed on this, I feel like they could use a really solid outside number 2 wide receiver. And then they do need some help at linebacker. So our Washington Commanders cohort here, why don't you come on in here and tell us what your thinking here is for this selection?
I know he was here earlier.
Yeah, he was.
He probably went to go get a snack. So if he's not here, I'm picking for him. I'm gonna give him about 30 seconds here.
Washington, you are on the clock.
On the clock. So let's look at the board here. While we wait for him. He's here.
Wait, I'm seeing his
okay.
His camera trying to.
His camera went in and out.
We'll take a look at the board here. Offensive line is, there's depth at offensive line here with the 16th pick. You can have your pick of edge rusher. Now, there was a report that came out today saying that, Young, they're not going to give him his 5th-year option. So basically, this is last year in Washington unless he really plays well and they choose to sign him. But, they're not going to re-sign him. He's often injured. So I think a replacement here would be fantastic. I mean, you put Nolan Smith on this team with what they already have at defensive line. I think that'd be a really good fit.
No, now, you may be like Russell, you just don't want them to have Nolan, which kind of is true because I hate Washington at times. But I don't think you get rid of a player with injuries to draft one with injuries.
All right. Washington Commanders, you're on the clock. Who are you taking?
Can't hear you. Can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, your mic's not coming through.
Chris, I don't know what's going on.
All right, Chris, talk to him and see if you can decipher what he's thinking here.
Yeah, have him if he can relay his have him chat it to you or.
Yeah, if you can type it out to Chris, and he can relay it to us what your pick is. Yeah. But yeah. So but no, what were you saying, Sterling? As far as
yeah, they Young, they're gonna let him go pretty much after this year, I believe, because he can't stay healthy. So I think drafting a defensive lineman like Nolan Smith, or you want to go Miles Murphy. Miles Murphy would probably be a better scheme fit here, just because of the style of defense they play. But you kind of already have a defensive end that does what Miles Murphy does. So Nolan Smith would be great here. Also, I feel like they could use some help in the secondary. Joey Porter would be a solid selection here. Hell, Jordan Addison would be good here. You could go. There's a lot of ways that the Commanders could go. Hell, if I were them, I'd really be interested in Zay Flowers, to be honest. I
think I was gonna say I like that you're going wide receiver. I think wide receiver is something that they may need. Has Washington hit you up with what he wants?
It doesn't sound like it. So at wide receiver, they got Scary Terry. They drafted the guy from Penn State last year, Joey Porter Jr. So
nice.
That's awesome. So they get a cornerback here. I think that'd be really good for that defense to get another cornerback. They definitely need secondary help. So Joey Porter Jr. is one of those guys that, like Russ, we talked about Devin Witherspoon, who's going to come in and hit and be sound defensively. Joey Porter is not that far away in terms of stylistically with Devin Witherspoon. So Joey Porter Jr. is an extremely talented cornerback. So that's a really good pick here. So with the 17th pick, we don't have a representative. We do have a representative for the Steelers here. So before I say anything else, one on our Steelers guy come in and tell us what he's thinking, and I'll tell you what's available.
Okay, he said he's going to come in. He said he couldn't hear us, but he's going to come in.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Got some feedback.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now?
Pittsburgh Steelers, you are on the clock. Or not.
I don't think he can hear us, but we can hear him. Let me.
Okay.
Mike's muted. I'm looking at his mic's muted now.
Okay, yeah, he muted. He said he can't hear anybody. I would want me to just tell him just go ahead and say his pick, or
tell him to go ahead and say his pick. I think for the Steelers here, I think you go tackle. You go Darnell Wright, and you don't even look back, man, because the Steelers had nothing on the offensive line last year. They couldn't even get the running game going. So you're wasting a first round pick and Najee Harris and a first round quarterback that you selected, and you can't protect him. So I think they got to go. To me, they got their biggest need is tackle here.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I think he's waiting on my text back. So yeah.
All right. So at number 17 in this year's draft, we got two possibilities. I'm not sure who Washington selected.
Joey Porter Jr.
was not able to see that. But they could go one of two ways between the young kid from Penn State, Joey Porter Jr., with all the hype in the media. And our depth at corner is not, pristine in the slightest. We do have Levi Wallace from Buffalo this past season. He's been real solid. Akella Witherspoon, I thought he was going to be a good addition, really, but, he's lived underneath the hype. But James Pierre, he's another young kid who has been making plays for us whenever we needed him. I'm not sure if anybody here has seen any Steelers games as of late because, we got a lot of haters nowadays. But he's made some big plays for us. He actually caught a game-winning interception this past season against can't remember off the top of my head who it was against exactly, but it was in the corner of the end zone. That's all I can remember. But anyway, yeah, so we could go Joey Porter Jr. You know, he's tough. He's very physical. We need a corner with that kind of physicality and just someone who can be mentored by Patrick Peterson, who we brought in this past offseason, which I believe is a great addition. But so Joey Porter Jr. could be one, and my other pick would have been Paris Johnson Jr. Again, I'm not sure if he was taken beforehand or not, but Paris Johnson Jr., I mean, he's a monster coming out of Ohio State. And it's a surprise if he did fall this far. With us at the left tackle spot, with Dan Moore Jr. there, I don't feel safe. And with that being Kenny's blind side, I would not feel safe either if I was Kenny. I mean, he was just getting mauled all year long because of that failure of an anchor on the left side. So I think with with an elite edge protector like Paris Johnson Jr., I think we could do a lot better than what we did last season. And we only lost a couple games by at least a score or two. So really we could have went, 13 or 12 games in a season, and we could have, made a big push in the playoffs, but it's just wishful thinking. But yeah, those are my two, just Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State and Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State. Thank you guys for having me, and I'll tune back into this broadcast.
Cool. All right. So now, when you tune back in, you're going to hear that the players that you wanted are already gone, but that's okay because I'm gonna offer you some, and I'll make the pick for you.
This is gonna be awesome because he's in my Madden league, you guys, and so oh my god, the whole time I was like, Joe, he's gone. Porter Jr.'s gone. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, I'm not going to give them a cornerback. I like Deontay Banks. I think Emmanuel Forbes I think he's better than Banks, to be honest. But, I would go, if I am the Steelers, I got to go offensive line. I feel like, you add another offensive lineman to what they have.
He said he's bad. Man, fuck. You good, Joe? We love.
It's all good. So tell him I'm going to go Darnell Wright for him. I think this is the safest pick that the Steelers could have here at right tackle. Darnell Wright could come in, and you don't have to worry about him. He's mean. He's nasty. He's going to give you a lot of upside in the run game, but he's also going to be able to help you out in the pass game. I know you got a young quarterback there. As much as, I just don't feel like there's a cornerback here that really, you got Levi Wallace, who's kind of athletically limited. I know that because he used to be a Buffalo Bill. He used to get on our nerves. But so, you'd want a cornerback with some juice, right? And I feel like Deontay Banks has that athletic upside, but how much time are you going to give him to kind of get acclimated to the game? So I feel like Darnell Wright can come in right now and be that starter for you at right tackle for years to come. So we're going to go Darnell Wright going to the Steelers. And then on the clock, we got the freaking Lions back on the clock. Now, with the Lions selection, earlier in this draft, we gave them Devin Witherspoon, right? So now that the Lions are back on the clock, wide receiver is definitely a need for those guys. Tight end, they need a tight end. They have nothing at tight end. So is this a situation where we give them Dalton Kincaid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Then they trade. What's his name?
They traded
Henderson.
TJ Hawkinson.
Hawkinson. Yeah.
All right, so let's give them Dalton Kincaid. He's very Travis Kelce-esque in terms of the way he can manipulate his routes and get himself open. I love his game. I think he'd be a great fit. I
really do think that it's the best fit for them, though.
Yeah, it's a really good fit for them. And that doesn't seem like the Lions that they just keep stacking up these damn good draft classes. They're stacked. They're loaded, man. So it looks like that they're. I mean, if you tell me if there's a team better in the NFC North than the Lions, I don't think I think they're better than the Vikings.
Right now, they are or should be the front runners for the NFC North. I know that probably Vikings fans may be like, no, not yet. No, I mean not Vikings fans, but Lions fans like, no,
Right,
not
right.
yet. Not the pressure. It's too early. But I do think that if any time is it's now, like the jumps that they've made, what we saw them do, the fact that we all know their offense was very good last year, and
Right.
they need a weapon like this to spread it out so that they can get Saint Raw the ball in space, and and let Jared Goff do what he did with the Rams. Just get the ball to playmakers. So
right.
I think it's a great pick for them. I think it's something that they should really do and think about doing.
Boogie, anything you wanted to add to that?
Nah. Well, actually, I was going to say Nolan Smith, but nah, we can go ahead. We can rock.
Okay.
Boogie. I think if he does slide like this, then the team that does the league's in trouble because we're starting to get into teams that are going to go from great. I mean, from bad to good to great. We're talking about teams that are going to, with this draft pick, whoever gets him is going to go from being a team that makes the playoffs to a team that makes a run in the playoffs because oh my God, they got a monster and they're already a good team.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so before we get to the 19th pick, we're an hour into this thing and we're a little bit more than halfway through with the first round selections. Some notable names still on the board here. We got Nolan Smith here, edge player from Georgia. Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC. Quentin Johnson, Anton Harrison. Lucas Van Ness is a guy that's been picking up some first round buzz. Osiris Torrance, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was
I was just about to say Zay.
Being one of the first wide receivers taken off the board. He's still here at 19, which I really do think that we're going to see him off the board here soon. So, Jahmyr Gibbs is another one, first round consideration in terms of running back. So at pick number 19, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. We don't have a representative for the Bucs, but so we're going to do it ourselves. So. Is there anybody that stands out to you that you feel like the Bucs should take?
They just had.
Man, they have some needs because they kind of just blew up a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Who's their quarterback now?
Baker Mayfield.
They got Baker.
Doggo Gibbs. Nah.
Because they get rid of Fournette, so I don't know who they have as well.
I was thinking that, but I was like, nah, because this goes to draft philosophy versus good players available. I don't think you draft a good running back to that team, but what's the lineman? I can see. I don't know if you want to. The rest of the linemen, there's not really a first round grade on any other the linemen left after Wrights. Osiris, you might get Osiris from Florida, but
yeah. So if you're talking offensive linemen, their line is not terrible. Osiris Torrance would be good here. They got two good tackles, right? So interior wise, Joe Michael Smith would be really good. Steve Avila is a guy that on the PFF board is kind of a second round, third round guy, but I've seen mock drafts where Steve Avila, I feel like he does have first round ability at guard, right? So he's a guy that they should be looking at.
I don't know. The Bucs may go best available here. I think that's a team that just needs to build. I think they go offensive line or they go. Because they don't need receivers.
Okay.
They don't really need corners. I mean, you can go safety. They don't really. You can go safety if you have a safety up there that you like. But I wouldn't. I would think if you got Baker, like I said, you got weapons on the outside. Jahmyr is a good one, but I don't know if you think that he's going to propel them to being a playoff team.
Yeah. So the problem. Go ahead, Boogie.
I don't think whoever. Well, offensively, whoever they pick here is not going to put them in a playoff. Which we call it's just I don't think that Baker's gonna kind of gonna help them out and help them get to the playoffs. I think they just need like you said.
I don't know. I don't know that. I'm you know me, I'm a Baker apologist.
Yes, I know. Because
yeah. As a matter of fact, we shouldn't even have Russ talking on this pick.
Yeah, so
don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. No, hold up.
This is how I genuinely feel. I feel that he's not going to get them there to the Witch Cross. So they are in kind of a pseudo rebuild spot where the kind of players want to leave and so just go ahead. I think you should take the best player available on the board here. But you can always go Jameer. I think that might be the more feasible one here.
I'm leaning towards Jameer here just because I know that y'all don't ride with Baker, but he's the perfect 50-50 polarizing type player because
I think Jameer helps him, and you can, you use a time where Jameer can get his footing, maybe, be a safety blanket for the quarterback that of your future, who knows, they might get, some guy next year or sign somebody or trade. You never know.
Okay.
You never know.
So you guys are going with Jameer Gibbs here?
I would say this. Yes, I'm going to go Jameer Gibbs because if I'm thinking logically and someone spent money on Baker Mayfield, or I did, we got Baker Mayfield. He's our quarterback. I know for a fact that surrounding him with as much talent as possible helps him be the best quarterback that he can be. And when Cleveland did that, he did make the playoffs after they did not win a game. So I would be like, let's get him a running back. He's got 2 receivers. We got tight ends. Like, if he fails, he fails. But the guy we draft is going to be set up for success.
Right.
And if he wins, well, he wins.
If he wins, he wins. If he dies, he dies.
We'll roll with it. So we got the Seattle Seahawks back on the clock now. They did take Will Anderson here. So Nolan Smith is still available. You're not going to take 2 defensive ends, but however, they need offensive line help, right? They need interior defensive line help. So, we're going to look for the trenches here. We don't have a Seahawks correspondent, so we're going to make the picks ourselves. If I had to pick 3 players that I think would fit for them here, would be John Michael Schmitz. I would say a guy like Osiris Torrance would be good for him here.
I think Osiris fits Pete Carroll's. You know what I'm saying? I think Osiris should fit in the way he's nasty and he gets down on the line.
I think Kalijah Cansey will be good here.
It's a good one.
So out of Cansey, Osiris Torrance, and John Michael Schmitz.
I'm gonna let you do Seattle, Sterling, because you did Seattle's first pick, didn't you?
All right, yeah, I did Seattle's first.
So go ahead. Yeah, you gotta complete it and make it right.
I'll go with Osiris Torrance here. I like the diversity in terms of he's just mean in the run game. I mean, it's a power run game. I feel like that best fits their system. I think he'd be a good selection here. So we're gonna go Osiris Torrance for the Seattle Seahawks with the 20th pick. And 21st up next, we have.
Please make sure your mic is muted.
No, well, it's the Chargers. We're good.
We got the Chargers here. We don't have we do have a correspondent for the Chargers. Yeah. So right now, the talk has been for the Chargers that they need running back help, they need wide receiver help. I think anytime you have a quarterback that's talented as Justin Herbert is, I think you need to get him as many weapons possible. I've seen a lot of Jordan Addison being mocked to them. I've seen Zay Flowers, who is also still on the board, being mocked to them. Linebacker, I feel like they're not going to take a linebacker this high. And cornerback, they can go Deontay Banks and Emmanuel Forbes here. So we'll let our Chargers correspondent step up to the mic and let us know what you're thinking with this selection.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right on. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Seems like you addressed it pretty well. It was tough watching the Chargers offense last year at times. You got one of my favorite guys in the league, obviously, Justin Herbert. Just didn't have the weapons around him. You got a guy like Everett, just kind of falls through on a lot of catches, important moments. You guys kind of took the only guys I'd be willing to take in the first round, though, off the board at tight end. Really love Mayer. Complete package, like you said. Ready to start right out the gates. But, Herbert has to have those weapons. And I mean, even though you got a lot of money going to the wide receiver group on the Chargers, they're old, they're kind of slow, and they're getting injured way more often than you'd like to see with a guy like Justin Herbert throwing him the ball. So, you got to get depth there. And I say all that to say, Zay Flowers, I love this guy more than anything the last couple of days, watching more and more tape. He's just he's a game breaker. It feels like he's that guy. I think he can easily be the best wide receiver in this class when all is said and done. And I mean, I got a whole spiel, but I'll save it because I really, at this point, if Nolan Smith falls, I don't think we can go offense. I think Chargers are going to take the best available player, regardless of what the fans want on offense. And I mean, Bosa and Mack, they're expensive. Yeah. They're getting old. Bosa spent a lot of last year injured. Mm-hmm. Staley loves his defense. I don't know. I just see it. Nolan Smith dropping this far. You got to pick him up, put him behind these guys who are top of the league, and let them learn some stuff. And all three on the field at the same time is pretty dangerous.
So I like the idea here. Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit more about Zay Flowers and maybe see if it changes your mind. Can we do that?
I mean, I love this guy so much. It'd be hard to convince me otherwise.
Okay.
We're rolling logistical. Here, let's go. Let's go. Fan perspective, Zay Flowers. I'd love to hear your thoughts on him. But just GM perspective, the Chargers seem to be willing to take best available. So I hate to say it. I really do.
No, I kind of hear what you're saying. I talked about on my show, and I've talked to scouts and stuff, and it's like my question to them is, how many teams actually draft best player available? And the answer is hardly none of them do. They all draft for need. And you have a guy in Justin Herbert who is stacked up against all these other good AFC quarterbacks. Now you have Aaron Rodgers in the division or in the conference, and it's an arms race. So you, as much defense as you had, take it from a Bills fan here, we have all the everything you could ever ask for defensively. It does us no good in the playoffs. You got to be able to score. So I feel like, unless we're talking Will Anderson here, I feel like, Zay Flowers, he is as close to Antonio Brown as you're going to get to Antonio Brown. Like, he can give it to you all three levels in terms of route running, yards after the catch, finding spaces and zones, and just, like you said, game-breaking ability. So for me, if I were you, Nolan Smith is there, but, man, I would really be intrigued with Zay Flowers.
I hope that's the way it goes, man. He's apple of my eye, and I'm almost hedging my my heart right now by doing this because, I've worked myself into a position where if they don't take Flowers tomorrow, I'm going to be very upset unless Bijan's there. But I couldn't agree more. I mean, he lights it up. He really does.
Are you 21 Chargers? Are you 21?
You going Nolan Smith or Flowers?
You know what? Yeah, I want to go back with my heart. You convinced me to follow the path that I see to actually produce. Like you said, we need to score offense. Defense is only going to do so much against Mahomes. We already got a good defense anyway.
Right,
so
Chargers.
Right.
Book Zay Flowers. I mean, he's that guy. And he will be that guy. Number one wide receiver in this year's draft. Book it. Can't wait to see the two of them pair up next year. And I'm really hoping he doesn't go to the Chiefs because if he does, we're in a lot of trouble in the AFC West.
Yeah, I like Zay. Zay Flowers is a perfect compliment to Herbert in that offense too, man. I think that's like the best fit for him so far. I would love to see him go to the Chargers because, look, man, if you could do all the damage you can to the Chiefs so that the Bills don't have to do with them, I would sign up for that. So please take Zay Flowers tomorrow night.
Right on. Well, I'm hoping for the same thing you are. It sounds like. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Go Chargers. Go Zay Flowers, and enjoy the rest of your draft. Good shit, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Go Chargers, go.
So
I was gonna ask him. I was just gonna let him know, Sterling. I get down and say, man, if you're above the drinking age Chargers, man, your team don't do what you want. Just drink through it, bro. I'm a Cowboys fan, bro. Just drink through it.
No, I love. You know what? I love. What's your name again? Skylar, Sterling here, man. I appreciate that perspective because, like, I was talking, to these guys, and it's like every day or every hour, my pick changes of who I want the Bills to pick, and I can sense that in you. It's like what you think, like concrete. They need to do this. Something, do you actually trust your organization to make the right selection? But then you're going to see a guy that's like, damn, I can't pass him up. And then you like lose sight of like the conference you're in and what you actually need to go to the top. It's just a lot, man. It's a lot.
You got to wake Chris up and our coach's ass.
But thanks for having you on, man. We really appreciate you listening to Sports Sushi. I hope it works out for you, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. Tune in next week.
All right, so we got the Ravens on the clock. Man, there are no quarterbacks here. We don't know what they're doing with Lamar Jackson. So I've heard some rumors that there might be a contract coming Lamar Jackson's way, but that's beside the point because it doesn't know good now. So I think even though you got Odell Beckham, you got Rashad Bateman, you got Duvernay, I still feel like the Ravens have needs. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Jordan Addison would be really good here.
I think that's the pick that you got to make here.
Now let me interest you in something, right? Think of it as like a GM because we don't have a representative for these guys. Okay. The GM says, "I just got you Odell. I don't have anything at edge." Right? We took a guy from the Michigan kid last year. He was injured. But like, if Nolan Smith is on the board, doesn't he sound like a Raven?
I was gonna say, as the Baltimore Ravens, you have to pick Nolan Smith because at this point, y'all know I'm pro Lamar, but at this point, we're talking as the Ravens. I don't know what you're going to do, man.
Right.
And I need to build the best team I can build. And if I do happen if I don't get Hooker, or I don't get one of these other quarterbacks in this draft, or I feel like we got to wait till next year, and I end up, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Caleb Williams is from the Washington area, that DMV area, I think. But be that as may, if you have to wait, like, go get the best player available, build your defense is going to be stacked. You got Odell for whoever plays quarterback, and Odell signed that contract for Odell. He didn't sign that contract for Lamar Jackson. He signed it for him. So, and he knows the name of the game. So I think you do go Nolan Smith. Of course, you try to re-sign Lamar, but I don't think it's based on like get me more weapons as far as rookies are concerned. I really don't think Lamar gives a damn once they got. I don't think he give a damn about them drafting receiver. I think he wants proven receivers in the NFL. So I think if you want to be flashy, you can go Addison, but I think you go Nolan Smith. He's the best player on the board. Yeah, you're just adding a mass of talent. Like he slipped in this draft for crazy, but like I said, team that gets him going to be beastie, and that's Raveny. It's very Raveny to pick the edge rusher.
I definitely think that Nolan Smith should is in line to be the pick here. I mean, and it's not as knock to Nolan Smith that he's dropping, but as you guys see, like when teams don't really draft for best player available, they draft for need, right? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like here, they have a need at edge. I think he gives them the most upside. And then in terms of wide receivers, so the best two wide receivers are off the board, right? So what I have in Jordan Addison, I can find in the second round if he's not there.
Yeah, there's more receivers in the second round of this draft.
Right. Because you got the two best receivers. They're gone. How much Jordan Addison to Nolan Smith? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if the two best receivers are gone, but Quentin Johnston's still on the board.
But he's not on Zay Flowers and Jigba's.
Okay.
Okay.
we don't have to. We'll just politely. What do they say? I vehemently disagree with that.
I know you like Quentin Johnson because of the conference he plays in, and he's good. But
he's awesome. He's better than good. But
okay, that's fine.
I think he's a victim of. I think he's a victim of a long time of people being able to dissect everything about him. And I think when he gets into the league, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, he was the best one of all of them." No, he's not better than Jackson Smith, but he was better than he's the second best.
Okay,
right,
that's
so,
fair.
So what?
To me.
Boogie, you're the parting decision here. So
what is out of Addison and Smith?
Addison and Smith.
Yeah.
Who would you take?
I already said Addison, so I'm rocking with that one. So.
He quietly whispered it into your ear.
Yeah, I was like Addison.
Russ?
He heard me. He heard me.
All right, we're gonna give Boogie his pick.
Yeah.
We'll go Addison here. Now you don't want Quentin Johnson? Okay. All right, Addison it is. Addison is he's a Baltimore Raven. And next up we have home of the Jay Jettas and the Minnesota Vikings. Wide receiver is a need for them too. You know, they lost their wide receiver number 2 in Adam Thielen. I feel like because we don't have a representative for them, Russ, I'll let you make the pick here, but defensive interior lineman like Brian Breesy would be good here. Nolan Smith would be good here. Linebacker, which I feel like they get later.
Okay, I think we can get cute, but we've let Nolan last long enough.
Okay.
I think right here, I mean, we may not like who's playing these positions, but they have an offense in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're slowly trying to rebuild it, but they have an offense. They have a quarterback. I think when you look at that team, adding a pass rusher to that defense would help them out immensely. I think it doesn't make them a great. I'm not talking about if he plays at a high level. It doesn't make them great, but it makes them a defense that you don't like. You're not like, damn, the defense is that way. You got to count on them. You know what I'm saying? You can dependable, I guess, is a good word. It goes towards building a very dependable defense for an offense that can be explosive. So I would go Nolan Smith. I wouldn't let him slide any further. I think you got to take him.
Okay.
I would make that pick.
All right, Bugs, you good with that?
Nolan Smith to the Vikings.
Yeah.
They just signed Davenport.
Ooh.
Marcus Davenport in this offseason. Who's their other guy? Yeah, who's the other guy they have playing opposite?
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah. Unless you move him to outside, I think that would be the move to me.
I still think Nolan has the potential to be better than both those guys.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely better.
I think Nolan's got potential to be like on some Parsons type shit.
Yeah, he's better than Davenport.
Yeah, he's better than Davenport. So, I mean, I like to live in a world where Marcus Davenport is my defensive end number 3. I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good pick, Russ. So let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, again, this will be a Sports Sushi pick as well. The Jaguars are fresh off of a playoff appearance. You know, they. In terms of skill position players, I feel like they did a really good job of giving Trevor Lawrence what he needs. You're having a guy, Ridley is going to be coming into the fold now, and they're already stacked at wide receiver, so there's no need there. But I feel like they do need some help on the offensive line. And in PFF even notes it here, guard center will be great for them. Edge and DB are their needs. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they're a team that I would be okay with drafting a safety.
Yeah.
I do think I'd be okay with that because there's a couple. There's a kid, you have to name him, but I think there's a kid from Alabama.
Oh, Brian Branch here.
Yeah. There's another one I'm forgetting. There's like 2 or 3 guys that are first round ready. So I or at least 2. So I think you go ahead and fill that position because when you look at that team, like you said, the team's built right. I think that's why I said I think they're a good team where you go get a safety now. You just came back from how many from the Chargers? Like, what was it, 24 or something like that? You just came back. Your team has that moxie about them. Like, go add a safety so you can add some talent just to add on to that. I just think this is a talent pick. Like, get some talent in the back end, a guy that can make plays.
Yeah, and that guy is Brian Branch. This guy showed out for Alabama. You know, he was the best, defender in the back end that they had. I mean, this guy, he's ball hawking. He's smart and instinctive. He can play single high if you need him to, but he can also play down in the box. So I feel like he's very versatile.
He was our number 1 safety, wasn't he?
He was our number 1 safety. So Brian Branch is officially off the board to the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 24th pick Now, picking at 25, we got the New York Giants. This will also be a Sports Sushi pick here. The Giants. Yeah, look, the Giants.
I couldn't do it.
I mean, you got some issues here. They definitely need some help on the interior. They need help at wide receiver. And this is a team that also needs help at linebacker and safety. So if what's left on the board, is there a player here that that they have to have? When you look at the skill sets of their wide receivers, I mean they're struggling here, right?
I said they go Johnson.
Yeah. I like that.
This is the Johnston pick.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a quarter. Yeah.
You just gave Danny Dimes that contract.
Yep. I think Quentin Johnson would be a good pick here.
You don't know what Saquon's doing.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what you're doing with Saquon, so I think it's a good time to take a step back and say, you know what, Danny, let's get your weapon.
Yes.
Everybody's talking about our and you got Dable out there, so he's gonna find a way to get him the ball, a la G did in Buffalo with Biggs. So I do think just go ahead and get him, and he's a big target. So
right. So
that's used to. And one more thing, me watching him, TCU, he's used to. Danny Dimes got paid, but he's used to having the lesser quarterback and catching maybe balls that aren't as good as others. You know what I'm saying? So being with a quarterback like Danny Dimes, he may not be with the best quarterback, but you got a receiver that says, "Well, I'm good." Yeah, I'm familiar with not playing with the best guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. No, Duggan. No disrespect, but you know what I'm saying. You weren't the best quarterback in the Big 12, let alone college football.
And for a record, we got 4 wide receivers taken off the board on the first 25 picks.
I got a bone to pick with you about that, Sterling.
And on top of that, we got 2 running backs off the board. So it's been skill position.
You had to push Zay Flowers on that poor man. If you had not pushed Zay Flowers on that poor man, they would have all dropped down a few teams. As a Bills fan, I could not believe you pushed that hard.
Well, I have to. I'm trying to keep it a buck here.
Yeah, trying to be impartial.
And I feel like if I'm the Chargers, Zay Flowers is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. As much as I want the Bills to get Zay Flowers, and I don't even trust if Zay Flowers is on the board.
That they weren't going to get Zay Flowers, but there would have been more receivers available by the time the Bills came on the clock here if you had started the run a few picks too early.
Chris said, let me live in the fantasy world. Tomorrow it ain't going to happen.
Its logic was completely sound. The team would have picked the defensive player, and you probably cost the kid $50 because now they're gonna they're not gonna get the right guy, and he's not gonna be in the $50 That's on you, Sterling.
I'll take it. All right, so Russ.
That's fine because if nobody wins, we're gonna put that money back into the sushi account. We're gonna move it to ads and shit.
So
I hope nobody wins.
Russ, you're on the clock, man, and you're going to be picking for the Cowboys. Your squad.
Who did the Giants take?
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson.
That's what started this whole tangent.
Yes. So now the Cowboys, both running backs are gone. Okay,
I'm not worried about the running back. You know what I'm doing. Set him up though. You can still set me up. I'm still dunking.
All right. So there's. I feel like interior defensive lineman is a need for you guys. Now, linebacker, but I don't think you're going to take a linebacker here. But corner is a need. Now, you have, Stephon Gilmore, right? You got a pair of corners that are solid, right, and Diggs. But a slot option here will be really good for you guys. What are you thinking? What's the pulse of the Cowboys right now?
Okay, so this is where I will answer this in two. I would say 2 different ways. Because right now, as a football fan,
I know what you're gonna do.
As a football fan and a fan of the Cowboys, just me, I want Drew Sanders. But I'm not going to pick him because y'all know I have a whole logic behind the guy I want to pick. But me, fan favorite, Russell, the guy that likes football, I want Drew Sanders. He hasn't been picked, right? Linebacker in Arkansas?
Has not.
Okay, yeah. I would football fan, I would take him because you put him and Micah on the same field. The offense has way too many problems to worry about along with those corners that you got. But I also believe in supporting my quarterback more than anything else. And it doesn't matter if I feel any way about Dak. I'm talking about all 32 teams. Me as a GM, if I get a quarterback and I find out he likes throwing to big receivers, I go get big receivers. If I find out he likes throwing to small, short, fast receivers, I can get those receivers. If I find out Dak Prescott, which we've seen him love to do, he likes to throw to tight ends. And so instead of me wasting a lot of time trying to find these tight ends in the third and fourth, I see mock drafts of us taking the kid from Oklahoma. No, you go get Darnell Washington. You go get Darnell, and you go get Darnell Washington, the big boy from Georgia, because at the end of the day, your quarterback looks at tight ends first. And you want to get a guy who I've been quoted saying he's Black Gronk, because you want to get a guy that I believe these other tight ends are good. But I believe Darnell Washington is the one guy that you can say it is third and goal, third and 1, third and 5, whatever you want to call it. And Rob Gronkowski, you're not calling a crazy play. You're going jumbo package. His big ass is out there. And the team says the Cowboys who can run are either going to hand this motherfucker to Tony Pollard and score a touchdown, or they're just going to throw it high. And this big ass dude that's bigger than everybody on our defense is just going to catch over us and laugh at us. And I do believe Darnell Washington has that. And on top of all that, he played at Georgia, so he's not wasted. He's not used up. You don't have to worry about him being all banged up. And he can block his ass off, and the Cowboys like to run. Give me Darnell Washington with the 26th overall pick, and I'm going to live with someone else, getting one of my other guys.
Okay. All right. That's a really good pick. You talk about a guy that can, be a seam buster. That's just running straight. He's 6'7", really good hands. But what he's gonna do in the running game, oh man, it's gonna be wild to see Darnell Washington Cowboys uniform.
I hope
it could be special. Another guy that I think that the Cowboys should consider drafting in the third round would be like a Zach Charbonnet to go along with your really good Tony Pollard. That'd be a really good compliment. Go ahead.
It's not a compliment. It's just loading up on guns. I did one mock, and A-Chain was available from A&M, and I believe if the Cowboys could snag him in the later rounds, like him and Pollard,
it'd be nice. It'd be a good.
Outrun everybody.
Yeah, because Pollard can do a lot of things between the tackles that people don't give him credit for. He's not just a speed guy. So, all right, Buffalo Bills.
And if you get Washington, I know it's y'all speaking. And if you get Washington, you can go jumbo with the other two tight ends you already have.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot. You can do so much. Please, Jerry, if you're watching, please. All right.
Yes. So our very own Chris Holber here with our Bills correspondent will be selecting for this team here. Now, as far as the Bills are concerned, Chris shares the same sentiment that I do in terms of I don't know if I really trust Brandon Beane to make the right decision. But if the board falls this way, I mean, I wouldn't blame at this rate for the Bills because there's no offensive wide receiver, and he took the tight end that mocks to the Bills exactly. I feel like, the Bills are going to take a linebacker here. But Chris, you seem to think that the Bills are in definite need of a skill position player. So what's your thing?
So if I was 100% the GM in the position and the board fell this way, and one of these asshole analysts is what caused the wide receiver run, I'm gonna let them know about it. Number one, but if I'm stuck here, I would 100% trade down in this position is where I'm going with it. But obviously we can't do that in here, so there's
no chase for you.
Yeah. But trading down to me is the only option here. There's marginal guys here that are fine, but I could take any one of them in what I would say 2 through 8 of the second round would be primo spot to drop back. But picking a guy here, forced to pick, there's only 2 options right now. And they're both the same. They're both the same option. You need to help Josh Allen out. You can either help him out with a better line, or you can help him out with better weapons. So, Jalen Hyatt, or the best lineman on the board, I'm good with either one of those guys. Whichever Sterling you think is more important, or the best overall player, would be the one I would lean towards.
I like Jalen Hyatt, but
oh man. See,
I drafted him in Madden, so I'm already.
Jalen Hyatt is with Josh Allen's arm and what Jalen Hyatt is good at, that's a seamless transition.
Yeah.
Go deep, young fella.
So here's my problem with Jalen Hyatt is that at Tennessee, there's too many free releases. Like the kid, he just runs and he's open. Like I don't know how he's going to handle press man covers. I mean, the kid played exclusively almost in the slot or on the move, right? And I feel like, yes, in the Bills offense, I feel like he could eat. But, the Bills value route running, and I just don't see it from him.
And I just don't trust them to use him in year one.
Right, and the Bills aren't good at using weapons. Like, they're not, right?
Or rookies.
Right? So it's like, man,
damn,
why would I give Jalen Hyatt to the Bills,
Russ, the Bills are ridiculous with we don't play rookies. No matter how much they come on and shine or have a couple of good plays right off the get-go, we don't play rookies.
I feel it. I feel you. Two things, though. And first,
we don't want to have the bigger conversation about the elephant in the room, but
we're not going to talk about Sean McDermott.
We're not going down there, right?
It's literally all a domino effect.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room. It's over there. His name is Sean McDermott.
So I trust them more to play an offensive line right away because they're desperate. So
here's my thing, though.
Hyatt's not going to get on the field, then give me an offensive lineman.
Here's my thing, and I think Hyatt should get on the field. But to Sterling, and we talked about this what was it, last Monday, the Monday before last on your show. You can move Hyatt around, and I think that's one reason why he did have a bunch of.
Do I trust Ken Dorsey to do that?
I don't know, but I do know that it's possible.
He still hasn't figured out you can move Stephon Diggs around.
Facts.
Yeah, but I think if he hasn't figured that out, I think he'll still move around a rookie first-year guy that has that type of speed and ability. But I mean, it's a good fear to have because you're right. If he goes to a system where the offensive coordinator is like, "Well, I'm not going to put you in any kind of motions or anything. I'm just going to let you stand up there and get jammed," then yeah, you're fucked. But I like Jalen Hyatt because I just think that you serve your quarterback what he needs, and I think a weapon is what he needs. Just one guy.
All right.
So Josh Downs, I can't even get behind him in the first round, let alone Jalen Hyatt in the first round of 27.
All right, so let's go with an offensive lineman then.
So here's your problem here. John Michael Schmitz is a center. So
I could do that because freaking Johnny Darkroom's not going to last much longer.
Right, you could do that, or you could say, you know what, screw you, Spencer Brown, and you can go get Anton Harrison. But again, Anton Harrison, OU, Cody Ford, like how much of that? I'm not trying to scout the helmet, but they're similar players.
Give me John Jacob Jingleheimer.
Right.
Wait.
We're going John Jacob Jingleheimer.
Schmitz.
I'm just gonna say this to stick up for my college football team that I like to root for, and that is we are offensive linemen. So you can name one guy, but our offensive linemen
that Cody Ford stink is still there. And
one out of 10 ain't bad.
The Cody Ford stink is so much more foul because of the Wyatt Teller stink.
Right. And it's not so much Cody Ford. It is Cody Ford, but it's also on the Bills because they mismanaged Cody Ford. Like, they drafted him to be a tackle, and then they start fucking with him, putting him at guard, and then sitting him and not playing him. And
meanwhile, the far better player was just sitting there wasting away and then shipped off for a fucking bag of footballs.
So,
I mean, I can't, you know what I'm saying? He was not the best when he was on the OU roster, but I can't tell you Creed Humphrey was.
Right.
I can't tell you Lane Johnson was.
Orlando Brown.
I can't tell you the best tackle in the game of football was
Trent
Williams. I can't tell you he was. OU is why. That's why they're good when they are good.
The pick is Schmitz.
All right, pick Schmitz.
All right, he wants Schmitz. John Michael Jingleheimer Schmitz.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick, Chris.
I mean, look, Mitch Morse, how much time does he have? Like, really, a couple years? I mean, John Michael Schmitz is strictly a center. He's not going to play any guard, but
you could lose Mitch Morse in a single play,
right?
At any point. So at the same time, you could play this Schmitz guy guard until Morris falls over.
Yeah.
All right.
We got the Bengals on the clock here. We got the Bengals on the clock, and we have a correspondent for the Bengals. What's up? So let me kind of paint the room for you. Tight end is a need for the Bengals. Again, but what you're going to get at tight end here. Some of the names that are kind of being tossed around will be a Luke Musgrave will be a solid here. Interior defensive lineman, cornerback, running back is a sneaky need for you guys now, but there's no options here in the first round. So what are you what's the temperature in the room for the Bengals?
Well, first off, thanks guys for having me. It's been fun. I spent the last hour and a half watching you blow up all my notes. Thanks for that. What I'm concerned about most right now is not even up on the board there is Jonah Williams asking for the trade after they signed Orlando Brown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get some more depth because now we got the Cody Ford problem on our team. So I'm going to go with Anton Harris.
Okay.
I mean, we got to keep Joe Burrows healthy at all costs. I mean, yeah, the running back's going to be a situation possibly. As long as a certain somebody can stay out of trouble, I think we'll be okay there.
Right.
But,
another OU guy.
Hey, I said lineman, and he's great. So our players are good, and y'all have P. Ryan. Cincinnati's done a good job drafting the helmet. OU guys have done pretty good for them.
Anton Harrison's, I think he's a really good fit for the Bengals and what they want to do offensively. They do run a more of a zone scheme in terms of their running game. So Anton Harrison, guy that can move. He has lateral quickness and agility. And I think he's really good in terms of his anchor and his technique, right? I think he'd be a good fit in this offense. And then, you put him at right tackle. So you're not asking him to take on everyone's best edge rusher, right? You got a guy in Orlando Brown that can do that. So
where?
What's that?
Where he go to school? Where did Orlando Brown Jr. go to school?
I already said he went to Oklahoma. We know
I'm
that.
just making sure that people know that again. Just I'm just.
Yeah.
O-line you, yeah.
Where did your running back go to school?
Mm-hmm.
With the Bengals running back, Joe Mixon, where he go to school?
He didn't come out.
It's
so long ago, I don't even remember.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about
so long.
I'm more worried about the next set of stripes he's going to be wearing.
Right. Hey, but the good, you know what? The common denominator is he'll still be wearing orange.
Damn, son. Yeah,
so,
he's gonna be on
so there's that.
Squad.
But, hey, I like the pick that you made a really good pick. You made some excellent points here. Anton Harrison is a fabulous decision for the Bengals. I mean, he's more of a fit for the Bengals than he is for the Bills and what they try to do on offense. So kudos to you on that. Boogie with the 29th pick as we're kind of winding down here. We got a few picks left and we're going to be out of time. But Boogie,
shout out to Ghost. I'm just gonna let you know, Boogie. Ghost is riding with you on this one. This is you guys. Y'all are together hand in hand, walking down Bourbon Street.
Okay,
so this is what I'm gonna say here.
Okay, go ahead.
I know that we have needs where we need to go ahead and address our D-line edge. We have a hole there. Yep. I know we have Peyton Turner. He hasn't done anything. We don't know what's there. So to me, it's really kind of like a toss-up in the air.
Okay.
I've said what I wanted, from the jump at this position. I would like to see them draft Hendon Hooker. But the fact of the reality is that the Saints have not drafted a quarterback in either the first or second round since they drafted Archie Manning. And yeah, so they're more of a trade, sign, free agent type of people with the quarterback. But I think they go here with Miles Murphy to fill the edge here. I wanted to say Collegiate Kainsey, does he pronounce his name? Mm-hmm. I was thinking maybe him. But I think that, they go edge because you got Cam Jordan is getting up there in age. We got a question mark with Peyton Turner. We just lost Davenport. So I think, fuck it, no. Go Hendon Hooker. There it is. Hendon Hooker. I said it.
You got to do it. Quarterback's the most important position. Flex bomb for Hendon Hooker in the first round. Late.
And let me just say this in real life, and I've been following this shit. They've already brought him in for multiple visits. I think it was like 3 visits or 2 visits or some shit like that. So there is an interest there with them, and I think that
that's a good pick.
Yeah, I think you go and you lock down the future here. I was trying to convince myself in whatchamacallit, say, you know what, fuck that shit. We're going Hendon Hooker. Stop trying to fight it.
I agree. I think you pulled the trigger on Hendon Hooker. I think all the hoopla about the leg injury, I think that's a little bit overblown. I think that these guys are able to recover from that injury, especially at quarterback, at a higher rate now. I think you're really just worried about will his play style, transfer over to the NFL, and I think it will. I think he's tall Russell Wilson. I've said it before.
So, I mean, I ain't gonna shit on your pick, but
he about to shit on your pick.
But you my dog. I like the player for the team. I don't like the draft position. I don't feel like he's the guy that you're going to take in the first round because I feel like you can get him in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about scheme fit and what he brings to the table, I think it's a seamless fit. I feel like you can get better value here at pick 29, but I totally get it because, again, you guys don't really have a quarterback right now. Yeah. So you got to kind of be looking at Hendon Hooker. He was in on the 30 visit. He is coming off an injury, but like we talked about C.J. Stroud, Hendon Hooker is extremely accurate. Now he is on the older side. I think when he comes into the league, he's gonna be like 25 years old. Yeah. So that's a concern. So that's why I feel like he's not going to be a guy that's going to be drafted in the first round. But I totally understand why you picked him here.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I want, but that's not what they're going to do. I think they're going to go end or edge. I can see them going interior D lineman. What'd you say, Russ?
I was laughing. I said that's not what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're not, man. That's what my heart wants, man. And damn it, if I'm sitting in Mickey Loomis' chair, that's the trigger that I'm pulling.
All right, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So we got the NFC runner-up or the NFC champion. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. We do have a correspondent for the Eagles to kind of set the table. They don't need a lot. I feel like their roster's pretty set, but I think they could use some help on the offensive line interior. It's aging. Defensive interior, defensive tackle would be great. Safety would be good here. So, let's get our Eagles correspondent in here to tell us what the pulse is for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
So I'll probably need your help on this one. I was looking at edge, but then can you scroll up
for
to
sure
the very top?
Yeah.
There's an interior guy, Cansey, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he seem to have fallen?
I'm going to tell you why. It's because he's small. He's got short arms, and he's an outlier in terms of interior defensive lineman, and that's why he's fallen. Because you don't know, how many small interior defensive linemen can you name of that have been extremely productive in the NFL? And it's very slim, right? And so he just doesn't have the build to be garnish a first round pick. Now, second round, you want to talk about Collegiate Cansey, giving him a shot there. But man, you're asking an NFL GM to invest 5 years in a guy with premium dollars at a premium position, and you don't know if his size is gonna definitely play a factor. So that's why he's fallen on our boards. He's fallen on me and Russ's our board that we did prior to doing all this.
Yeah.
But that might change for an NFL GM. Somebody's gonna take a chance on him. I wouldn't pick him here, but I get it if you might your fan base might love him, right?
Yeah, I mean any of these picks, like you said, for the Eagles, they got a little age, but they're pretty good for another year or two.
Right.
Any of these picks really, I don't think they can miss on.
Right.
I think Howie's gonna go Cansey though, if he's still there.
Okay. All right. So
I'm gonna pick on what I think he's gonna take.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Here's the good news. In terms of if the Eagles were to pick him, you don't need him to start. You can actually see, because you got, Jordan Davis last year, right? You lost Javon Hargrave, that's going to be massive to really get over. So, if you didn't get Cansey, I feel like Mozzie Smith would be a better fit to your defense than Collegiate Cansey, because Mozzie Smith is a much better run defender. But you think Howie's going to go? You think Howie's going to go Kansas?
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's roll with it, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a chance.
Let's take a chance on the guy. Be high upside, and you want it to work out. Again, it's just the measurables that kind of is a red flag to me. So next up on the clock, though, we do have the Kansas City Chiefs. And do we have a correspondent for the Chiefs? We don't. So this will be a Sports Sushi pick to close out round 1. All right, so I'm going to give the Chiefs something extremely trash because I don't need them doing anything good. All right.
It's a motherfucking grand finale!
So I'm going to pull a Chris in our Madden League. Chris likes to take fullbacks in the first round.
Oh, my God. Don't unmute yourself. Don't unmute yourself and explain yourself. Just let it be. Let it marinate, Chris. You pick fullbacks in the first round of Madden. He gonna cut the stream. Oh, I was in the stream. I said he didn't cut the stream.
So, for the Chiefs, I think the best pick for them would be Lucas Van Ness.
Hold up, this cannot go unresponded to. The mock draft always pushes fullbacks on me in the first round. I don't go through with it. I get them in the second round. I'm not a psycho.
Bro, you draft fullbacks on Madden, cuz? What are we doing here?
And kickers.
Not anymore. I got a 23-year-old X Factor at fullback now. The guy's a stud.
Why? What kind of cheese?
He doesn't miss a block.
Oh, Chris loves he loves his 3rd, 4th round picks because why, Chris? That's where the meat and potatoes of the draft is.
No. I don't care about you having stars.
Value meets available.
You have a fullback. Why do
he drafts fullbacks. He drafts kickers.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, like Chris is that guy. But
when your team that's stacked, all you can go for is the niche positions.
Yeah,
right.
He hits on these little crazy positions and these.
So you're telling me like if your team is like not good, you're not going to pick a fullback to come be your savior, are you?
No, I got a great running back. I want somebody in front of him that's going to plow a path and not forget. Just take a left right when he gets the contact.
I got to fuck with Chris. I got to fuck with Chris real quick because it's the last pick anyway. So Chris, let's say you have a wide receiver, you have a quarterback, and you have a running back. There's a top 5 receiver on the board. There's a nice fullback. Who are you picking?
You're talking to the guy that drafted the greatest wide receiver prospect that's ever come out in the history of Madden, and it's not even an exaggeration. Oh no! This like if you gave like a 7-year-old a bucket of gummies and told him to go to town on it, got him all wired and hopped up, and then said go make a Madden character. It's this freaking wide receiver, bro. He came out of the box 99 everything, like a 10-year-old made him.
Oh, okay. You're talking about something else. Okay, yeah, that's something.
Never mind. 99 speed, 99 acceleration.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, never mind.
All right, so
sounds like Colin Johnson and CPG LTL.
All right. So back to the Chiefs here. I think it's between Will McDonald, Lucas Van Ness, and I would say Josh Downs. Again, Josh Downs to me just doesn't feel like he's first round material.
But it's the Chiefs,
and they need wide receiver, right? But they also need they're gonna take them. They also need edge, right? They definitely need edge. They lost Frank Clark.
You don't like Miles Murphy, Clemson?
Is he still on the board? Oh my God! Yeah, Miles Murphy's the pick.
Yeah. I was going to draft him until I changed mine.
Yeah, Miles. I could see Miles in New Orleans. He sounded like he'd like it. He looked like he'd like it out there.
Yeah.
So
he fit in.
I'm going to download this image.
Yes, please send that to me too. I
download the image. I'll send it to Chris here. But the first annual Sports Sushi mock draft for round 1 has concluded.
Yes, sir.
And looking over the picks here. There really isn't. There wasn't a wow. Oh my God! I can't believe that happened. Pick. I mean, these are guys that are pretty much slated to go this round. But I don't know about you guys, but I am sick and tired of talking draft. I mean, I think we've been one of the first shows, to be honest, on Sports Sushi that we've been talking prospects for months.
Yeah.
Even during the season. Right. So we've talked about over 80 prospects on our show.
Every skill position,
every skill position. Yes, we've done it all here on Sports Sushi.
Team, every position. Team wants and needs. All that.
Yeah.
I feel like we Cowboys, Bills, and Saints. If y'all fuck this up, like, oh my God. But I do think for the viewers out there, we did do no trades because Chris was right. And one thing he did say while he's making his pick, like, I do think there's going to be a couple teams, more than a couple. I think tomorrow's going to be pretty crazy with the trades. I think there's going to be a lot of teams shuffling themselves in and out, up, down. I think guys are going to make moves to make other teams move up. I think Bijan's going to cause somebody to make a move at the last minute. But yeah, I think it's going to be lit.
The only thing that I could see happening that probably won't happen is at that many wide receivers taken in the first round. I think that's going to be, I see 2, maybe 3 at the most, but it sure is interesting. I tell you that.
I think that's just because we didn't have y'all know I hate trades, but we didn't have the trades. And I think every time you get to a point where you're like, this team needs a wide receiver, but they could get Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
So they probably won't pick Quentin Johnston or this other guy, you know what I'm saying? So they'll trade out to another team that's lower that's like, nah, we could use Quentin right now. But I hate doing trades and mocks because it's unpredictable as shit.
All right, Boogie. So you want to take us out, man?
All right. So that is our show this week. Please tune in next Wednesday where we're going to be covering more of the NBA playoffs, the Aaron Rodgers trade, and all the other shit. Sorry, Chris. My phone's
Who got drafted?
Who got drafted, and draft recap and our responses to said draft. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can always follow us social media, Sports Sushi on Twitter, all one word. You can find us at Instagram, sports_sushi. We are on Twitch, YouTube, all your your podcast directory.
Everywhere, motherfucker. We everywhere. We everywhere like air. You just tune in and we gonna be there.
And don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Hit the fucking button and the bell, whatever it is. If you want to follow us individually, you can find me at DJ Slow Boogie, all forms of social media. That's our I need, not a Y. Where can they find you at, Sterling, and all your works?
Yeah, man. At Furrow Sterling on Twitter, BuffaloRumblers.com, and on TikTok, Stilo.Huncho. On TikTok.
Huncho! Of course, you can find me on the platform. So you can find me on Twitter, RLClimbSP. That's on Twitter. You can find me on IG at Big30TheTruth, because you know what I'm saying, I shoot the hoe from deep and it's real. And I want to give a special thanks to all the people that joined us today. Flex Bomb for your one time, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining us. We really liked having you guys. Like I said, this is gonna be annual, so we're gonna fill the spots. And hey, we're gonna do this for the NBA draft too. This is gonna be fucking awesome. Sports Sushi for the people, by the people, with the people.
All right, so we are uploaded on Spotify podcast directories, YouTube, Daily Motion, Odyssey, and Rumble. You can find us on is it Gradwick podcast directories, Gradwick Podcast Network. One of the two. I always get them goddamn confused. Chris, what is it? All right, cool. Yeah. Well, because some people were saying they couldn't find it, and I had to. They had to go to Gradwick.
Follow us on. Really follow us on. I think it's on IG and on Twitter. If you follow us and look at the link in the bio.
Yes.
They will take you right there.
All right, that is our show for this week. Please tune in next week, and it's just a Wednesday, bitch.
Oh, baby! Oh yeah. Hold up. Oh damn.